Welcome to Thienletics, a mental, physical, and emotional health podcast. My name is Tommy, and together with my good friend Alec, we're going to talk about our journey through this thing called life. We hope our stories and conversations inspires anyone out there that they are not alone in their struggles towards bettering their mental, physical, or emotional well-being. It's okay to struggle, and remember, you are loved and you are never alone. We will get through this together. Let's go.
First topic.
What are we talking about today, Alec?
We're talking about some fitness, man. Our whole Thienletics concept came from fitness. It came from the gym. You remember that one night we were just like, we gotta do something, and it's a podcast. Oh man,
This idea was birthed at a gym.
at a gym, doing some muscle ups and ring ups, all the good stuff.
So when did you start your physical health journey?
I felt like I jumped on the bandwagon on this one. It was during COVID, when everybody was like, you know what? Let me just get ripped up home. Yeah, let me get ripped. I'm gonna stay home during COVID. There's nothing else to do, so why not do calisthenics, push-ups? I had a pull-up bar, so I did that. Chin-ups. I did L-sits. I had like some 5-pound dumbbells at home, and I was just doing rotator cuff movements.
So you started working out with calisthenics?
That was my beginner.
Dude, that's awesome.
You know, right? I learned a lot from it, though. I learned that I was actually weaker than I expected, and that I probably was not ready to move heavy weight if I couldn't move my own weight.
What was like your base stats?
Base stats?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be embarrassing. So during COVID, I finally watched One Punch Man, and 100 push-ups and stuff, 100 squats, all that stuff. I tried doing that, it didn't work. So I think my average for a set was 20 push-ups, and I did that for like 4 sets. I did set-ups for 15, 4 sets. I didn't know how to work out properly, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do 4 sets and like 15 to 20 reps.
Dude, that sounds like you have a really good base strength.
That was pretty strong, man. I looked like a twig, but I was pretty strong.
Yeah.
I remember the thing at a time was you go on YouTube, flashback. This is 16, 17-year-old Alec. I went on YouTube and I looked at these fitness guys and I was like, I want to be them. I typed in how to get abs in 8 minutes. What a scam.
Dude, I think
How to get abs in 8 minutes. How to get God physique within 20 days. Doing this exercise for, an hour? It was so stupid in retrospect because I'm like, how are you supposed to believe that? You can't get abs in 8 minutes. It's physically impossible unless you're genetically modified.
Well, I mean, I think that is not stupid. It's just you're misinformed. I mean, you just don't have the knowledge. I think everyone that goes into their fitness journey, they're like, I want abs. Or I think that's a very common
That's the
thing.
go-to. I want abs.
Yeah.
I want big arms. I want a Arnold chest. I mean, I'm not saying those things are impossible, but it's really hard to achieve in a week. And that's how I thought it was. What? I can get abs in a week? Let's do this. But I also had to take into account that I ate like crap. I ate terribly.
I definitely think that is part of the formula of having a really good physical health in general is the diet is probably like 70% of the journey, honestly. Because you can work out as much as you want, but unless you're eating the right foods, you will never achieve the body you want.
Definitely.
And it took me years to realize that.
It was a really hard pill to swallow. And I took up some very unusual dieting habits. Like, the small little Asian bowl that you would get as a kid, and that was your dinner? I would eat that with rice and some chicken. Like, 4 to 6 times a day. And I lost a lot of weight. I think I dropped from 150 to 130. That was my range.
Honestly, so
average, I guess.
I think that's a good first place to start. Where were you at? Where did you want to go?
I want to get the Bruce Lee aesthetic, man.
So
I had to cut down a lot.
So at that 150, do you think you were overweight or were you underweight?
I had to take into account my physique at the time. I was 150, but I was pretty chubby.
Yeah, when I'm 150, it's chubby Tommy. My cheeks are a lot more cheeky. So you think that you were trying to just get more toned and more like lean?
I wanted to just build more muscle, but also lean down. But when I look at myself then, myself now, I'm like, I'm pretty content with what I have now
Mm-hmm.
compared to then. Because if I was 130 and really, really lean and small, and I didn't really like that. But now I believe I'm back to my 150 mark, back to it. But I have more muscle than I did whenever I started.
That's good, dude. I think we have pretty similar goals actually when it comes to fitness.
Definitely.
So my first day of having my, I guess like starting my physical journey was at Planet Fitness.
Oh
My
my
friend
gosh.
was like, "Hey, I have the Planet Fitness member black card. Do you want to come?" And I said, "You know, why not? Why not?" So we both go to the gym, and then she's like, "I'm just gonna run for 30 minutes." And I said, 30 minutes? Okay, I'll do the same thing. So I'm like running for 30 minutes on the treadmill, and at the end of it, I was sweating bad. I was like, "Wow, I I would probably die if I was attacked by a bear. I would die very quickly. Like I don't have the stamina to run 30 minutes." I'm like, this is a problem. And then over time, we went to the gym more. I remember one day where we like worked out all the machines, and I did every muscle group that day.
Whoa. Full body, Tommy.
It was a
Wow.
full body workout, and I went home, and I was sore for at least 2 to 4 days. At
Two to
least
four
2 to 4
days.
days.
That's pretty.
My body was like, "What is going on?"
That's pretty average for recovery time.
Yeah, right. And after that, I loved it. I love the feeling. I love the feeling. I was like, wow, I really put in the work because my body is like doing its best to recover right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, after that, I remember going to Planet Fitness and I bought my first $10 membership card.
Yeah.
And the first day that I was at the gym by myself, I did bicep curls for 30 minutes.
Oh my god.
I
No.
didn't understand what reps were. I didn't understand what sets were. I was like, if I do enough bicep curls, my arms will grow. And they did
Oh.
not. They did not. So I think it was just like I would go to the gym, I would run on the treadmill, and I would do bicep curls. I lost a lot of weight. I actually lost a lot of weight. So I was already like pretty thin,
Mm-hmm.
but I lost even more weight. So I was not eating enough. I didn't know how to eat. At that time, YouTube wasn't really that popular. So whenever YouTube came out, it was mostly like funny YouTube videos. There wasn't anything about tutorials or anything. So it was like a different time. There's no way for me to have all of the base knowledge. I didn't know where to go.
This is so weird hearing that from you, because I went to Planet Fitness because my cousin had a black card, and I decided to go with him. But instead of you running for 30 minutes and realizing if I was chased by a bear, I wouldn't survive, it was the opposite. I did strength training first. And when I went to the Smith machine, that's like, isn't it like 20 pounds when you start and then you add on weight onto it?
Yeah.
I did that and I put 10 pounds on each side and I couldn't lift it. And I thought to myself, if this was a fucking boulder, I wouldn't survive. So that's how I equated my strength to a survival situation. And that's whenever I wanted to freaking power lift for real. But I didn't have the physique for it, so I just hurt myself constantly. Like I get really bad cramps and all.
Wait, so you had trouble bench pressing 40 pounds?
Yeah,
Oh.
because it just felt awkward. Because I did calisthenics first, and then I'm put in a setting where I have to lift weights. When I've been lifting my own weight, and I would, the Smith machine, you lay down, and it only goes in one direction, unless you arch your body in a certain position or remove your bench or whatever.
Yeah, they say like that's the problem with the Smith machine. It's a fixed motion.
Mm-hmm.
So your stabilizing muscles don't get worked at all.
Definitely.
So maybe your body just wasn't used to like something that was in a fixed motion.
That's most likely because I was doing like archer push-ups at home easily. It was almost beautiful the way I was doing it. It didn't look like I was struggling at all. And when I got up, I looked jacked. When I was at Planet Fitness for the first time, I felt so weak.
Mm-hmm.
And as time progressed, I worked out more. I got a little buff, lost some fat, and then I bought my first membership. And I felt invincible. I just did things I didn't learn, or I asked the biggest dudes in the gym, like, can you teach me this real quick? And that's basically how it went for a few years until I tried doing a pull-up again. Saddest reaction ever. I tried pulling up, and instead of doing it for 20, I only did it for 5. And I just sat on the ground like, what happened to my skills? They're gone.
I think they're always there. It's just the thing about calisthenics or body weight training is that as you gain more muscle and more like fat that comes with the muscle, which is normal, then you just get heavier. So it should be more
Yeah.
difficult. Like if you're doing, let's say, if you're doing pull-ups and you're able to do like 15 or 16, that must mean like you're really lean.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you can't do as many pull-ups, I think that you're too strong. You're too swole, man.
I didn't feel that way for a while. Like I got a little bit of muscle, and you know what the term plateauing means, where like you build up a certain amount of strength of physique for a while, and it's just monotone. Nothing changes for a while, and then it'll slowly go up. You know what that's like?
That was basically me the first 6 months. Like
Yeah.
I just did biceps and I ran, and my dad was like, "You look really skinny." I was like, "Man,"
Oh
I
no.
felt so hurt. I think that comment inspired me to like I need to do more, and that is really interesting that you're talking about your journey because that's when I realized I need to bench press. So
Oh, snap.
I went to the Smith machine, and I remember us talking. You're like, "Yeah, the tricep makes up 2/3 of your arm." That's when the transformation began. So I started bench pressing, and that was whenever people started to notice, oh, Tommy's like, he's not skinny anymore. Like he's getting buff.
Yeah.
And at that time, because I was at like 115 to 120, that's me in high school, like post high school. So this is like me in undergrad. So I'm like pretty skinny for a guy. Like that's really low in weight. And I gained, I think, 20 pounds that 1 year.
Ooh, 20 pounds of straight muscle.
I don't know
Look at
about
you.
that.
Big
I don't,
swole.
I
Big
don't know,
swole.
I don't know if it was all muscle, but I did gain 20 pounds of from training. So I think that's when people started to realize like, oh dang, like Tommy's arms are like getting big, because I didn't have much to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So I had what was called like the newbie gains.
Yes, everybody gets newbie gains, and that's what I had.
The newbie gains were like impeccable. I got so much bigger, like in a good way, so quickly. It was a good time. It was a good first year.
This reminds me of a recent interaction I had at the gym the other day. Some youngins, I guess, got their membership not too long ago, and they were doing their
How was youngin for you?
youngins like 14, 15,
You can get a membership at the age of 14 or 15?
maybe, I don't know. But they looked that age. I'm pretty sure they weren't, but that's what they looked like to me.
Uh-huh.
And they were doing their shoulder raises, lateral raises, and their form was not good. And I went up to him, I'm like, hey man, drop the weight, focus on doing your form like this. He's like, no. I do it this way so I can work all parts of my shoulder. I'm like, oh no. Because I guess the newbie gains got to his brain, and that's what happened to me after a little while. Because when you're 130 and you're finally putting on muscle and mass, you're looking a little bigger, you have a sense of pride, and it just gets to your head. It makes you ego lift. In that sense, him and his homie were ego lifting, and it was pretty bad. And I told them once already. That was my warning. And they still didn't listen, so I just let it be. Because I don't want to interact with their journey if that's how they want to do it.
Sometimes you have to kind of fail to succeed. I also remember, I'm sure there were interactions with me at the gym, and I'm sure someone came and corrected my form, and they had every right to correct my form. But at that time, especially like being a young male adult, it's just like you do have a lot of pride, and you kind of, not only that, but I don't think that many can handle criticism that well. It's a skill that takes a lot of practice to learn how to be able to take constructive criticism, not take it personally, and actually use it to like further your growth. Like that takes a lot of skill, and for me it took years to develop.
That's what I've been realizing, because when I'm with my calisthenic crew, that includes you, Tommy, and I'm doing things and I'm hearing more advice on how I should be doing the lift, it's amazing. Because I'm like, this is one more step closer to the goals I want to achieve. But it's also, past Alec would feel that same way, in the sense that I would be happy with it, but I'd also be pretty sad, because it's almost like a negative reinforcement. Because I'm like, you're not doing good enough. Do it this way.
Negative?
Yeah, I always saw it as a negative thing, but now I'm like, oh shit, this actually be helpful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is exactly how I perceive things. I was like, am I being attacked right now?
Yeah, but it's like the fight or flight mode. What do you do with it? And I always got like, oh, thank you for your help, sir. I appreciate you. And whenever they leave, I get like depressed. I'm like, oh no, I did it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, it's rough. Like the beginning of the fitness journey is so scary, and you get really self-conscious too.
Oh yeah. I feel like everybody has to go through that at one point in their life, especially in the gym. You always got to go through that self-conscious phase in order to get your gains.
I think that's like the biggest thing that most people struggle with. It's like they go to the gym and I think most people, their first initial thought is, wow, people are gonna look at me and they're gonna be like, what is this guy doing? Or what is this girl doing? Like, why are they here? But the
Yeah.
gym community is,
It's very flexible. It really is.
we're very welcoming. I don't care if you're 500 pounds or if you're 90 pounds. Like, the fact that you're in the gym, it means you're trying. And I think that anytime I see people do that, I always give them a thumbs up. Like,
Hmm.
no matter what, like, you get a thumbs up.
Definitely. Whenever I went to the gym, that's whenever I kind of started rewatching Avatar, and I thought of myself as Aang trying to relearn. Like he already has airbending, and that was my calisthenics. But then the other elements were like powerlifting and stuff like that. And you know how he struggles through trying to learn all this stuff.
Mm.
I saw myself that way, but also I guess it wasn't the best way I could compare myself to Aang, because that man he was very open. In real life, I wasn't really open to newer things. I was literally forced to go to the gym when my cousin got his black card. He's like, Alec, you're going to the gym with me. I said, for what? I do calisthenics at home. But I also was excited because it's like a newer environment.
Mm-hmm. Why did you feel like you were forced to go though?
So my cousin has the reputation of having a, one may say, God complex. And he said, if you don't go to the gym, you're this and that, and you're weak. But if I tell him to do push-ups on the ground right now, I can outlift him. I'm not outlift him, but I'll do him.
That doesn't sound like a really healthy person to be around.
I mean, he's cool.
Hanging around with someone
Sometimes,
with a god complex is
sometimes, I mean, sometimes it's not cool, but after a while, when you see it, you tune it out. You can't really do anything about it. So I'm like, beep. But I went to the gym with him, and it was really fun after a while. Because he'd be like talking trash to me. He's like, lift it, man. You're weak. I'm like, oh, fine. Put another one. Come on. Let me do another rep. And I bench press it, and I put it back down. I'd fail sometimes. And he's like, all right, move. Put a plate on for me. I'm like, all right.
Oh, so he had more of like a superiority complex.
Kind of feels that way sometimes.
He was kind of talking down on you.
Not all the time, but
At least at the gym.
at the gym, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good intro.
Yeah, but my man tore his labrum, and now I lift more than him.
How
Who's
the
the superior?
turntables.
How to turntables.
Yeah, that's the problem that I have with working out. In my 10 years of, so I have been working out for 10 years now, and I think that the only negative drawback I could think of from working out is the ego that comes with it.
Definitely.
So I noticed that, I mean, some people deserve it. I mean, they made the results, so they think that they deserve to have that ego, and it's definitely not okay.
You're right. You're right about that. I feel like ego plays a huge part in the gym. Because you know the newcomers, they come in, they lift, and like, yeah, I'm making my gains. But they also, that same ego can hurt them. Because I don't know, what if they try to deadlift and they have their rolled back? Gonna blow your back out, dude. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. So when I see somebody deadlift sometimes, I'm like, hey, yo, I mean, if it makes you feel better, do you want to wear my belt? I have my screwdriver from my book attack to tighten it up for you real quick, and you can use it. I just don't want that to happen to, a newcomer, because the gym to me has been it's like sanctuary to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's likely to occur that I got it from the gym, because I had to take my mask off to drink water. And when I got home and I realized, I'm like, no, the one thing that brought me sanctuary is the one thing that brought me to this moment. And I got really upset.
Too much gym is a bad thing.
That's true.
So I think that's on the other spectrum that I realized that I started to meet people that made gym their life. And honestly, my biggest goal in life is to find balance in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a pharmacist. So I basically deal with medications. And when it comes to medication, dosages are so important. And that's kind of how I view life. And the biggest thing that I learned from my 8 years in school was the dose makes the poison. So essentially, too much of something, of anything, is bad for you. Too little of certain things could be detrimental. But I definitely think that too much of something is what a lot of people struggle with nowadays.
Yeah.
Addiction is a big thing, and it doesn't just come from drugs. It can come from the gym. It can come from sex. It can come from
Just interpersonal relationships, if anything, right?
some people are addicted to love.
Yeah.
Some people are addicted to fame. Addiction is just basically whenever you do something a little bit too much.
Or anything you abuse, just in general. Because I found that I abused many relationships. In the sense that
extrapolate. What do you mean? What do you mean?
So I would vent out a little too much and I basically use them. So I got addicted to the fact that I was just venting out to them when I needed to, when I shouldn't have. After a while, I learned and I just kind of backed off. That's whenever I try to learn how to do things myself, which probably wasn't helpful most times, but I make do with what I have.
I remember that we actually had a previous talk where we talked about emotional addiction. I think that that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you vent so much, it's like you are abusing the relationship, whether it's a friend or a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You're just kind of using them as a vehicle to like channel your negative energy, whether it's anger or jealousy or envy. And you're right, like it's
not healthy.
Every once in a while it's understandable to be frustrated, but if you're doing it too often, that's a really bad formula, and your enjoyment in life will like drop.
Huge decline.
All right, I need a break.
Oh, good. We back. This Thienletics podcast, back from our mini break.
So, you know what the worst thing is?
What?
Protein poops.
Protein.
Pre-workout poop.
I hate it, bro. I hate it because when your body's not used to having so much caffeine in its body and you finally take a pre-workout and you feel the cramps in your stomach, you feel like you're about to die sometimes.
I just drank a coffee protein shake and I was like, I need to poop right now. And that's why we had to take a break.
Yikes. Bro. Pre-workout, though. That's scary. Because you know how your body feels like it's on fire because of the beta-alanine?
The tinglies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the
tinglies. Yeah, your hands and your fingers.
You feel everywhere, and then like you finally get the power cramps where your body just needs to exert some sort of energy.
Yeah.
And it goes to your stomach. You've ever had those?
I don't think it's ever gone to my stomach.
It's always gone to my stomach because I had
the tingly feeling, I have felt it before, and I'm like, I know it's working. I use it as a sign that the pre-workout is working, so yeah, I don't consider it a bad thing. Ooh. But it is weird.
Quick question: what was your first pre-workout?
I had C4.
Yeah, C4.
Yeah.
That's the to me that's the perfect beginner pre-workout because you're a starter. It's affordable. First of all, pre-workout's too damn expensive. $50 for 25 servings.
I would never spend that much on pre-workout.
I mean, I wouldn't either. I see it all the time. I avoid it.
My cousin actually, like, he makes his own pre-workout.
What?
Yeah, I think he buys like caffeine powder and creatine powder, and he mixes it with like a flavoring, like and then he just makes it his own pre-workout. It probably does save money over time.
Yeah, you save your pennies and stuff. I really want to start doing that, but I don't know what to buy for myself.
I mean, from the research I've done when I was younger till now, I think the main two big things that you should be taking is just creatine and whey protein.
Yeah.
Those are mainly the only proven, I guess, natural supplements.
I only feel like pre-workout is there for the boost of energy whenever you're working out. And they also have creatine inside of it. They have some good ingredients for your, I don't know, hour or two workout.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I went on a 8 to 10 month hiatus off pre-workout, and all I took was creatine. It was very interesting experience because I still made the same gains I would have made if I took pre-workout. If anything, I felt like I got stronger, quote unquote, naturally without the caffeine.
I mean, caffeine is a stimulant, so let's say you're getting attacked by a bear.
Mm-hmm.
It ramps up your sympathetic nervous system, which is you have two systems. You have your parasympathetic and your sympathetic. So your parasympathetic is things that you would be doing if you weren't being attacked by a bear, like digesting food, or I guess processing, like you need to like go pee. Like that's part of kind of the parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the system that you want on if you're getting attacked by a bear and you're trying to fight back. So your heart rate goes up and there's more blood flow through your system. And that's, I guess, I think that people who take pre-workout, that's probably why they get kind of like a better pump, because essentially there's just more blood flow running through your muscles.
I mean, they have that for sure. I'll give you that. I had good pumps when I was taking my pre-workout, but with creatine, I'd also get those good pumps too.
Creatine is really good. Like creatine's a really good supplement. I don't know the exact mechanism of how it works in the body, but I think those were the only two natural supplements that I took for the most part over the last 10 years, which leads me to like, so when I started to work out, Marvel movies started to come out, and you would see these superheroes,
Yeah.
and they would always have these shirtless scenes where they have like awesome pecs, awesome abs, really big arms, and I also fell into the trap of like, man, like I want to look like them. So the physique, you said that your physique was like you wanted to attain like a Bruce Lee physique. I wanted to attain a Captain America physique.
That's reasonable.
I wanted the Dorito so bad. And it's, I mean, I've always kind of known, but I think my younger me didn't want to know. But a lot of what these movie stars do is not natural.
Definitely. I mean, I hate to go into these rough waters, but I do believe in the non-natty actors out there that appear in superhero or action movies.
I mean, I don't think it's exactly like rough waters like you were saying. I think that it's good that we talk about it more.
That's good. Yeah. I only call it rough waters because, you know, the natty or not natty situations pop up against influencers, and then sometimes you can tell they're lying, sometimes you can tell they aren't. I mean,
It sucks because I have basically spent 10 years and I still struggle with it to this day of having this body dysmorphia. I'm just never satisfied with my body. And I'm trying to work on that this year where I work out, and they have this thing called body neutrality where even though there's body positivity and there's body neutrality. And body neutrality is just trying to get to a point where you just see your body as like, it's just my body. It's a meat sack. It's like I want to take care of it, but if it's not like the most perfect thing, like that's okay.
definitely.
And honestly, it kind of rocked me, because I had always wanted that physique for so long. But I mean, I've been chasing this goal for like 10 years, and there were moments where I felt like, wow, I'm really comfortable with my body, and I've really put in the work, and I'm satisfied. And on one hand, it would probably be like maybe 4 or 5 times, like 4 or 5 periods in my 10 years of working out, where I was like, you know what? I'm happy with my body right now. The other times were like, man, I could do more, or maybe I should do less.
Interesting. Like when I'm with you guys, you're like, damn, Alec, your arms are huge. Look at those veins. When I hear it, it's like, I can do better though. I can get an extra vein popping out somewhere else. Like
That's the body dysmorphia, dude.
No, it gets even worse. I remember just scrolling through social media at the time, and this woman, she states, if you work out, you're fat phobic. And I just sat down and was like, am I fat phobic? I was like, I work out so I can be healthy and look good, but also not be fat. But does that make me fat phobic? And I spiraled by myself over that one phrase. If you work out, you're fat phobic. And I got really scared about what I was doing. I was like, am I doing something that's right now?
Well, that's one extreme of one end. The other end is like, if you don't exercise, then you're kind of garbage, which I think that's what they're kind of targeting. People like that have that mindset. When I was growing up, like in my early 20s, there was a subreddit called like r/fat people hate or something, and it would just literally be a community about making fun of fat people. So I definitely think that was a movement during that time. Eventually that subreddit got banned, which is rightfully so.
Yeah.
And maybe I understand why people would think that people that exercise or try to promote exercise are fat phobic. However, I think that's a very vocal minority, and the majority of overweight people, they are trying to better their health.
I'm proud of those people. I really am. Like, I don't think my grandpa is really obese, but he's pretty big. And the first time I saw him eating a salad and going out for a walk, kind of like, whoa, he's doing it. Get those gains. But I mean, he's pretty old, but
See, that's like the overwhelming majority of the fitness community. We are here to celebrate the fact that you're taking your physical health into consideration. It doesn't matter if you work out once a week, but the fact that you actually go, like that is enough. And I mean, you were always enough beforehand, but the fact that you're trying to take care of your body, to me, I think that's one of the biggest acts of self-love.
Self-love can go a really long way.
And I think that's what people that kind of say, "Oh, you're fat phobic." They're trying to get to a point where they love their body, and that's understandable, but again, the dose makes the poison. So if you're lean into that so much, sometimes having self-love means saying that, you know, what I'm doing is not okay. Like I'm not treating myself right, and I need to like treat myself better and take care of myself. And I think that if people just had that idea, then I think a lot of people would not be struggling as much.
I'm telling you. I believe, like, as youngins, we always saw like anime characters that were completely ripped, and we wanted to be like them when we were younger. That was a part of my motivation to start going to the gym or working out in general. But I think one of my other forms of motivation was trying to protect my people, my family, just in case if something were to happen, I'd be there, big enough and strong enough to protect them. And so when I'm like lifting heavy weight, I'm like, will this stop an enemy coming at my family? I'm like, no, it's not enough. And I was like, I gotta go heavier and I gotta be stronger. And although it's not the best way to motivate myself, it's a way to like remind myself to be healthier and more, I guess, mobile. I don't know. I just want to be strong enough to protect them if something were to happen. I'm not sure if you feel that way in any circumstance of your life.
I've definitely had moments where I was like, if I were like, I've had a couple of like guys really dislike me, and throughout my life, which is kind of normal. And I was like, man, if I get in a fight with them, would I be able to defend myself?
Oh
So
yeah.
I think that I've had thoughts like that where it's just like, but you're right. I mean, if someone were to, let's say, hit one of my parents, like, would I be able to stop them? And I definitely have had moments where I do want to protect my family. So I think that's a really like common thought too, honestly.
It's really crazy seeing myself now versus when I first started. I'm not sure if you do it, but I used to take progress pictures of myself, and I had my jogger Alec face where you know what, I should just do some cardio. I'll run back and forth on my driveway to see how much I can burn, how much sweat I can let out. And when I look at those pictures, I feel really proud of myself now because I'm like, I got huge, and I can't even fit the clothes I used to wear then. But at the same time, it's underwhelming because I want to be bigger. I'm like, I gotta be huge.
See, that's the problem. Um, that's body dysmorphia though.
Body dysmorphia is, oh, it's too damn strong, man. It's like an anchor in my life right now. I have that body dysmorphia.
It's okay to have goals. Completely okay to have goals. It's okay to want to be bigger. But if you're discounting your progress that you've made over like a year or two, then that's a really big problem. And I think that's when it hits to that body dysmorphia range. Because I've known you for, like, we've been friends, like friends for the past couple of months now.
Yeah.
So I've seen your fitness journey and you have gotten a lot stronger. And the fact that you're like you did say earlier that you're satisfied, but you're like, but I want more. And I think that that's kind of a little bit unhealthy thinking.
I know it's unhealthy, but I really want to be bigger. I can't do it overnight. It's just, I'm really impatient with the process. It took me, I started working out in 2019 and it's 2022. It's 3 years to achieve what I have now. And I'm like, oh, there's so many things I've changed to achieve this. What if I kept those habits up? Would I be bigger now or smaller?
It's all of the progress about creating trial and failure. And it's definitely okay to like not have a perfect record about how to get to the body you want to get.
I know, but I want to be a buff grandpa, bro. You ever see those grandpas that take off their shirts and they still have six packs and stuff? I want to be that. That's an unrealistic dream.
I think it's attainable.
It's attainable. It's really unrealistic because I know there's no way in hell I'm gonna be like that when I'm at the age of 90.
You're just gonna look really lean, and I think that's the problem. There's a lot of pictures out there of older men, and they look like really big, but like the chances are they are taking like illegal substances to get there.
So much work. Have you ever had that mindset whenever you're working out where you're doing your workout and when you finish, you felt like people were laughing at you? Have you ever felt that way?
Um, I've been working out for 10 years now. I started in 2012, so it's
Ooh.
2022 now. So it's been officially 10 years, and I've only ever had one negative experience. It was like these group of like teenagers slash like young. They look like 19 to like
Yeah.
22, and at that time I think I was like 18 or 19. They're like a little bit like they look like a 1 or 2 years older than me, and I remember I was bench pressing, and I do take pretty long rests, and I remember they kind of like went to my bench and they were kind of, I guess, doing stuff to it, and it kind of irked me, and it made me subconscious because they were like in my area.
They're in your bubble, bro.
They're in my
When you're
bubble.
using that bench, that's your bench. I don't.
Yeah, they're
Oh
being
no!
really like douchey about it.
If I was there, they wouldn't be in your way. Like, back off, beat it, bro. We're using this bench.
I think they were trying to do human flags.
Oh no!
Like
The human flags.
they would go on the side of like the bench press and they would like try to do it. It was, now that I've started calisthenics, I was like, that's pretty. They had pretty bad form.
Oh yeah, talk
Yeah.
shit, talk shit,
I
man.
mean, I'm gonna talk shit, man. I really wanted to. I wanted to report them to like the employees at one point.
Mhm.
Like after I left, I was like actually really angry. I was like, man, these guys were like kind of assholes, and um, I told myself if they ever did it again, I would either hit them with a 25-pound plate, or
Whoa.
I would go to like the employees and tell them something.
That's so different. I'd either hit you with a 25-pound plate, or I'll just report you to employees there because I'm a reasonable
I mean,
pedestrian.
when you're young, you're like kind of reckless. Like I was angry, dude. I was like, man, like
Yeah.
I'm like 18 now, and I have been bullied for most of my life. So I really felt like I had to do something.
Definitely.
But I was like, it's not worth catching an assault charge. So I'm glad that dude. So
Oh my God.
I am from California,
Mhm.
and I am pretty like timid. I have a timid personality, but I'm from California. And in California, like I came from a place where gangs were like the norm because everyone's parents were immigrants, so they're working all the time to take care of us. So no one is supervising these kids. I was one of those kids. I think if I'd stayed in California, I probably would have joined a gang.
No way. I can't imagine you in a gang. I'll be
Exactly
honest.
right. Most people cannot imagine me being violent, but I actually have a story. I was like,
Story.
yeah.
Ooh,
So
story time.
this is in California, and I think I was 12 at the time, and I think I annoyed one of my friends, and
Mhm.
he loved wrestling, so he like pinned me down, and he like wrestled me, and I was like, dude, you're really in my space. Can you like stop? And he's like, you need to tap out. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna like play your game. So at one point he
Oh
kept on
shit.
like, I don't know what he did, but it started to hurt, and I was like, bro, you need to like chill. And he didn't do it, and at some point I started to cry, and my friend, he saw us like, I guess, fighting, quote quote, and he was like, Tommy, just tap out, man. And I think eventually I did, and after that I turned, my vision went red, so I ran into the kitchen and I grabbed a knife, and
Oh shit.
I was thinking
Oh
about
shit.
scaring them with it, but I was so angry, like I kind of like started walking towards them with a knife, and they got scared. Like I could see the fear in their eyes, and as I was walking, cause so their kitchen, they were in their room
Mhm.
at that time. They were in my friend's room at that time, and I remember walking down the hall with a knife, and they just looked at me, and they're like, he looks really angry. And at that time, I just really wanted to scare them with it, but I think I went a little bit too far. They closed the door on me, and I literally slashed the door with a knife.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
So there's like a legit scratch mark, like a really long scratch mark at the door. And after that moment, no one ever tried to mess with me again. So I call that like Cali Tommy.
Callie Tommy was a different man.
So
Oh my god.
right, dude. So most people will know me, and they're like, Tommy is like, he's shy, he's timid, he's not the type of person to
Mhm.
like be violent. He's not the type of person to be angry. Not many people have seen me angry, but there is a side of me that exists, and that's why I'm like, guys, like now that I'm older, I'm like, please don't mess with me. The Cali side is still and always gonna be there.
It's like the dark side.
The dark side.
It's like you close your eyes and it's like caliform.
I mean, looking back in retrospect, what I did was absolutely wrong, and
Yeah,
I'm
bro, you literally scratched up this guy's door.
y-
It's a whole ass slash.
yeah, yeah. It's just I was watching Stranger Things, and in season 4,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, the main character 11, she gets bullied by this girl,
Yeah, Angela.
Angela, and honestly, like it would have. That's kind of like what I went through growing up. Like people would just pick on you
For the
and
fun of it.
for the
Yeah.
fun of it, and if you like, most people say just ignore it, just ignore it, but sometimes it goes away. I would say like maybe like 50% of the time it'll go away, but the other 50% is they're just gonna keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until 11 hit Angela with a pair of roller skates that Angela literally like
Back off.
she did end up calling the cops on 11, but she was never part of the show after that because there's no way like that girl will go around 11 after that. And
Yeah.
I think that was the point. Like when I was 12 at that time, that was where I was at in my life. I was at the point where I was like 11 and I wanted to get a roller skate and hit somebody with it.
You know, I feel those moments. I've been told I have a really bad temper as well. But if something like that were to occur and I had the chance to hurt them, I'd want to commit it. But at the same time, it's like that conscience inside of me told me, if you do this, what else will happen? Or if you don't do this, how can it benefit you? There's some moments where he'll be erased from this universe right now if I do this. But I was like, it's just not worth it. He's going to be a figment of my past life. Will I see him again? Probably not. Because I used to get bullied sometimes too. But I never put myself in a position where I was going to do it. Because I know when I got older, I wouldn't have to deal with him. And the likelihood of me meeting him again in the future was rare. So I was like, it's not even worth my time. Why bother?
That's a lot of
Self-control.
Self-constraint, and it is the right thing to do.
Oh yeah.
Don't ever act on your violent tendencies.
That's where I started working out. Hi, this is your co-host Alec with our unofficial shameless advertisement plug into Finch Care, a public benefit corporation.
Finch is a self-care app. You're basically raising a little bird, a little virtual bird, and you can see that as your kind of like an extension of yourself, or you can see it as a little bird. But either way, you are to take care of it. And how do you take care of this little bird? By taking care of yourself. This is why Finch is a really great app. It helps you create daily habits, gives you good ways to reflect on things that are happening with your life. They have like a journal section where you can kind of talk and write out your feelings or thoughts. It's just an overall good thing. Back to the show.
Anyways, yeah, but
So you're saying something about working out.
that's where my anger was usually dispersed. You know how you put your trash in a bin and you leave it in front, and every Friday or so it comes by and pick up the trash and goes to landfill? That's what the gym was for me.
Dude,
And it was every day.
That is gym is a really good stress relief, and I think that's probably why I've been kind of out of the funk. I haven't gone to the gym in like 2 weeks, and
You recovering, bro. There's no excuse for you not going to the gym. You had COVID, homie. You had the right to stay home. I don't want to hear it.
you're right. Like I definitely needed to stay home, but I kind of felt out of place not going to work out. Which I mean, I do struggle with the same issue. Like I remember growing up, I was like 19, and I was like, oh yeah, like I could hang out with my friend, but I need to work out.
Oh no.
So I did go through a phase where I neglected other parts of my life to go work out. So I was definitely on the spectrum where gym kind of became an addiction in a way. And people, they don't talk about that as much, being addicted to the gym, because gym is like 90% a good thing for the most part. The 10% that's bad is like, again, 5% goes to like that gym addiction, and the other 5% is the body dysmorphia. On the side of like gym addiction, man, like I think that there are a few times in the last 10 years where I went a whole week without working out. Like I could probably count on my hand, probably like 5 times or less per year where I didn't work out a whole week. So it's tough.
It really is tough, but I believe I'm in. Remember how you said 90% going to gym is a good thing, and they have that 10% that's either the body dysmorphia or the gym addiction. I feel like I'm in a mix of both with that 10%.
Yeah.
Because if we go on a vacation, I'm like, where's the gym? if we're in a hotel resort or whatever, I'm like, is there a gym in here real quick so I can go work out? And I realize this is a bad thing, but it's just so part of my routine. I'm not sure if I can let go of it so easily. I can't let go of it so easily. It's very weird. I'm telling you, if I'm at a hotel and there's no gym, I'll just like do push-ups on the ground. If I have anything heavy around me, put on my back real quick so I could. And that's not a good thing, man. I'm becoming a gym rat. I've gone to that stage. The gym rat / meathead Alec has occurred.
Dude, that takes a lot to like. I'm glad you're able to come out, man. Able to admit that you have a problem.
I'm telling you. I remember there were just some moments in time where I shouldn't have gone. Like, let's say it was an Easter celebration, and my cousin's like, "Man, I think I need to start going to the gym." I'm like, "Oh, let's go right now. Let's go." And I like ditch a family event and go. And in retrospect, it was not the best thing to do.
So, what do you think is a healthier approach towards the gym that I think both of us could take, or just everyone could take? Because it seems like, at least for like us, we kind of struggle with the same problems. That 10% where it's just like the body dysmorphia, 5%.
Or the gym rat, the gym rat form.
Yeah, the gym rat addiction. We can call it the gym rat disease.
The gym rat disease.
Dude, it honestly do be like that.
It really do.
Like, I don't think there's like a specific term for an addiction to the gym, so we'll call it the gym rat disease.
The gym rat disease. My take on it, at least, if you're going to the gym, have fun. Don't go to the gym looking for your own ego and pride. You're supposed to go to the gym to enjoy yourself and feel healthy. If you want to go on the treadmill for an hour every day, go ahead. If you want to lift weights for an hour, go ahead. If that's where you find happiness. And if you want to just interact with different people that you've never met before. Shit, man. I met you out of nowhere. I remember giving you a fist bump. I just didn't even remember what your name was.
My earliest memory of you is I was working out with my gym partner, and I saw you bench pressing, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know that kid. He's also fighting demons just like me."
Oh my
That's
god.
literally
Oh
the
my
first.
god.
That's literally the first idea that I had of you, because he was like, "Yeah, I talk with him. We have similar mindsets. He's also fighting demons just like me." And my gym partner, he is like the definition of gym rat disease. He will neglect career, family, and friends to work out. So he will neglect literal parts of life to get his gym session in. And I think that is like, when I started to see that in real time, I was like, wow, honestly, I struggle with the same thing. Maybe it's not as extreme, because I still I still try to like have a full-time job and everything, but it's just like I can easily fall down to that depth, and I cannot, and I will not do it. So yeah, it's scary.
It really is. The gym rat disease is one dangerous path to go down.
It's addicting.
It really is.
The dopamine rush you get from hitting a weight you never touched before. Like,
It's
I
amazing.
see it. I've seen videos of my friend, and he will like, you can see how visibly happy he is, and you can see that dopamine spike. But to constantly chase that dopamine spike, and I think that's the problem with the body dysmorphia, or like the gym rat disease. You're chasing this high constantly, and the thing about chasing dopamine spikes is it's never gonna be enough. Like, you will never go to a point where you're going to be
Happy.
You're chasing a destination, but like, happiness is not a destination. It's literally like the journey that makes happiness. Like, you have to approach it in a very healthy way. So if I could give advice to my younger self, I would tell him, you can work out. I agree with what you said earlier. Do your best and have fun, but don't neglect your friends. Don't neglect your girlfriend. Don't neglect your boyfriend. Don't neglect your family. Don't neglect your career path. Don't neglect your job. Don't sacrifice parts of your life to make your gym experience better. That's why I kind of have like this love-hate relationship with diets. And I mean, I just had a caniac combo meal yesterday. It was awesome.
Oh my god. Caniac combo. Shit. I want to eat that right now, but the cut's really important right now. I'm trying to look good.
I mean, that's the thing though, like,
Body dysmorphia.
yeah, like, you can, I don't like the idea of bulking and cutting. I mean, it does get you the gains the most quickest, but I think it's so unhealthy too.
It really is. I mean, to a certain extent, if you want to, like, let's say, like, a bigger person was trying to cut, That's perfect. But don't cut to the point where you're like 3% body fat, homie. That's unhealthy.
See, that's the thing that's the other spectrum I want to talk about. You kind of started off this episode earlier with like, I guess people saying that if you exercise, like you're fat phobic. The
Yeah.
opposite spectrum is like the people that are like gym rats, like the top tier of the gym rats, and they're like, look, okay, like I have to do these things. Like my friend, she definitely has gym rat disease to the point where I think it affects her self-esteem, and she worked a double shift, and she's like, guys, should I go to the gym? And I was like, look, you need to rest. You know what she did? She took some pre-workout at like 10 p.m. and she went to go to the gym. And to me, that is that is the extreme end. Like if you work 12 hours, you should not be going to a workout. Like number one, your body won't probably even get good gains from it. And number
Yeah.
two, you're probably pushing yourself too much mentally, and the mental strain is not good for you in the long term.
I know some people like that. And I'm like, how do you get enough rest? Because sleep is very important for the gains. You need like 7 to 8 hours of sleep. At least 7, just to get good enough gains. You have to have a good diet, and you just gotta take care of yourself overall. And like, why go do that? I have some free time and I'll go, but sometimes I don't want to go, so I just don't. And I tell myself even when I have to go, I really don't want to be here, but let me make the most out of it. I took my pre-workout already. Let me just have some fun.
To me, a healthy approach towards the gym is I think going that for the average person, going like 2 to 3 times a week is really good. Moderation,
Yeah.
maybe like an hour to an hour and a half ish. I think that's like what the base should be. I mean, obviously you won't get the greatest gains, but I think like that's
You're still going.
You're still
Yeah.
the fact that you're still going. And then if you want to go advanced, I don't really like the idea of going to the gym 6 days a week. So
Yeah,
I
no.
think that like 4 to 5 should be like the upper limit, where you don't make it like you're not going to the gym to get gains. You're going to the gym to create a lifestyle. You're going to the gym to take care of your body.
I
And
like that.
so the last thing I want to talk about today actually is what is Thienletics. Thien means Zen in Vietnamese. And Zen is just this idea of balance and peace and inner peace. So just having like wholesome well-being of your like mental health, your physical health, and your emotional health. And the athletics part is just athletics or calisthenics, honestly. Like that's to me, I think that calisthenics is the most beneficial like workout style when it comes to like making gym a lifestyle thing. Like if you want to like be the grandpa with the six-pack abs, calisthenics is to me the only way you can ever achieve that. Like to live a life where your body is just physically healthy from the age of 18 to the age of 80, I think calisthenics is the best thing. And basically, the Thienletics is just finding peace and well-being and happiness, and that's the Thien part. And that's usually for, I guess, the mental and the emotional health part of life. And then the Letics part is the physical aspect of life. Like your body is your temple, and you should be taking care of it. I want people to look at life in a very holistic perspective, where you kind of tackle all three of like the well-being part of life.
I like your take on it. My take on it was like pretty much like what you said, but like you said, Thien means Zen, and the athletics part is always like it's a workout. It's a like the calisthenics part. It's a bodily movement. You can do that anywhere. So why not practice and work your body in a Zen way? That's how I always see it.
So I'm not as big as I used to be. I did get sick with COVID over the last like week and a half, so that played a role. But I definitely feel the most anti-body dysmorphic from calisthenics.
Interesting.
Because for me, it makes me target. It just makes my body as functional as possible. Like if I were to fall and I caught myself at the ledge of a cliff, could I pull myself up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like you know when you were saying earlier, where it's just like, if something fell on me, can I push myself? Like, can I push it off?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that is just natural movements that happen in life. If you were to be in like a dangerous physical situation, and honestly, like I have gone through both. Like I've gone through the bodybuilding phase, I've gone through the powerlifting phase, and now I'm the calisthenics part of my fitness journey. And I think to me, it is the most holistic workout style. Like
Definitely, yeah.
I feel mentally better, I feel emotionally better, and I feel physically better when I do calisthenics.
I like calisthenics a lot. That was my first stepping stone into fitness. And then when I got into like bodybuilding and powerlifting, it all started feeling very excessive in the sense that I had to lift heavy in order to get big. But when I do calisthenics with my gang, the calisthenics crew, it feels it's really fun and it's enjoyable. But right now I'm just trying to build up my powerlifting stuff before I get back into calisthenics because after a while I felt like I neglected my own strength and I wanted to see how far I can do both. It's pretty interesting what I can do now and when I do in calisthenics because it goes hand in hand sometimes it doesn't. I can't lift as heavy during powerlifting, but I can go beyond my limits in calisthenics.
I have some good things to say about powerlifting, and I have some bad things to talk about powerlifting, which we will get into in the
Another
next
day.
episode.
Thienletics. This is Alec and this is Tommy signing out.
Have a good day, y'all.